The old German woodcarver. There was this old German woodcarver from Germany. He lived a simple life in a small home in the country. The kids were all grown and moved away, and now it was just him and his loving wife. One fateful day, their meager yet content life was shaken by a horrible accident. The old woman's leg was crushed beneath the wheel of the tractor, and the man hurried her to the hospital in Berlin, mangled leg and all. The Berlin doctor told him that it didn't look good. Her only hope of survival was if the leg was removed immediately, and even then it wasn't a sure thing, but they had to hope and pray that it would be enough to save her life, and so the leg was removed. On the drive home from the hospital, neither said a word. The old woman was in a bad mood, and rightly so. The old man, however, was lost in thought. In the man's mind, flashes of light went off, and the sounds of machine guns being fired, the echoes of men in agony. He knew this day would come when he would be punished for his crimes, the horrible things he had done during the war. For 50 years, the old man had told himself that it was war, and even good men do terrible things during war, and that his soul was not lost. He had repeated this as a mantra for 50 years so he could find enough peace to sleep at night. But perhaps the lie was finally too big to ignore, and his sins of youth caught up with him and taken their revenge. An accident, they called it, but he knew it was penance for breaking the laws of man and God alike. The old broad that sat across from him now in the passenger seat was never much to look at, especially in the daylight. But she was once a sturdy woman and gave the man 8 kids, 6 of them being sons, and by God, he owed it to her to do something, and propping her up at the stove every day to cook his meals somehow just didn't feel proper. Right then and there, he was overcome with a sense of guilt and duty that sparked a fire within him to get his once bipedal wife back on her feet again. By day, he tended to his bed-stricken wife, and by night, he began to carve a fine burl walnut log into what would eventually be nothing less than art. His knuckles swelled, and he fought against the arthritis and the other things that went along with the curse of old age. His eyes were strained, and he knew deep down in his heart and soul this would be the last great creation he would ever carve. Weeks passed, autumn gave way to winter, and still, the old man sat up every night hard at work carving on a leg. He carved intricate patterns into the wood and even whittled out an extra toe for stability purposes. On and on the man labored until one night he put the finely polished wood down. It was done. He had finished at last. In the distance, he heard church bells clanging in the village as if to celebrate his great labor, but then he realized that this was Christmas Eve, and the fact that this day of all days would be the day the leg was finished was surely a sign from the heavens. He had to be forgiven, after all, for those dark deeds in the Great War. The old man then found some plain brown paper that reflected his own humble nature and wrapped the precious gift carefully. He then waited for his wife to wake from her long winter's nap. The old man waited for his wife to stir from her rest, and he handed her the new appendage. She tore into the paper with the strength and wonderment of which the man hadn't seen before their 3rd child. The old woman's eyes began to water as she attached the leg and rose from her bed. She danced and twirled, and it was as if she had life breathed into her by divine powers. My dearest husband, I can walk again, I can dance again. This gift is the kindest and most amazing gift I could have ever dreamed of. I knew I married a wonderful man. And here I am with no Christmas gift to give in return, she said through tears of joy. The old woodcarver simply smiled and replied, "Don't mention it, my dear. It's just a stocking stuffer."